Welcome back to Top 1260 KTRC. It's Dr. Daniel Ronel. You're listening to the Humanity Behind the Vanity. We're in the middle of a conversation with Julia Bergen, the director of F.A.C.T, F-A.C.T. And during the break, we just found out she just got her master's from Harvard.
Yes.
And she's really into expeditionary learning, which is what we are into. And we have roots that go back to Princeton, which was really where all of expeditionary learning and Outward Bound sort of started in the United States. So this is really fantastic. We're very happy to have you. So you're going to tell us some more.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you, Danielle. And in fact, I think what the connections speak to is an incredible dedication to really quality education, which is what expeditionary learning schools are about. And certainly I learned a lot about them and a lot of other things while I was a student at Harvard. But you know, if only we could provide every child with a really, really quality education, the world would be a really beautiful place. Not that it isn't, but it's something that we work really hard to achieve within our organization, and I know there are a lot of people in the community that are working hard as well.
Yes.
I wanted to just share a little bit of information about our community studio programs. The community studio is on Pacheco Street. And at that space, we offer after-school programs for children ages 5 to 12. And the first session begins next week, Wednesday the 26th. Wednesdays will be for 5 to 7-year-olds. Thursdays will be for 8 to 12-year-olds. So if you have a child who's interested in pursuing their artistic ambition, please give us a call. We do have scholarships available, and we're happy to work with you to ensure that your child can participate. We never refuse a child because of financial hardship. So please do give us a call. And again, the number is 992-2787. And one of the things I wanted to touch on a little bit this evening is that we're all well aware of the fact that our state is facing a really serious financial deficit. Yes. Our new governor, Governor Martinez, is working to figure out how to work with a balanced budget. And within our own school district, the Santa Fe Public Schools, we're facing a third consecutive year of some really serious cuts to the budget. The first year, I think we saw about a $6 million cut. Last year, it was $7 million, and this next cut is somewhere between $4 and $13.5 million. And
goodness.
You have to ask yourself what's left to cut.
Right.
And what the school district is saying is that they'll focus on non-classroom direct expenses, meaning principals and non-instructional staff. But right now, the district is working with a zero technology budget. Class size has already increased. We know that this will lead to an increase in dropout rate, which we can't afford.
No.
And there is a serious lack of resources, but we have to look really thoughtfully and really responsibly at whether or not the cuts we're making are appropriate and justifiable, because in the long run, it's our children that suffer, our community will suffer.
The world will suffer.
And we need to take stock of what's happening as a community and really step up and do all we can as individual citizens to support the school district and also support those people who are really working hard to try to come up with other means of financial support beyond just cutting. And I did want to mention one group. It's the Parent Legislative Action Network. Its acronym is PLANE. And Michelle Liss and Valerie Ingram and several other really smart people in our community are leading sort of a charge to get more people within the community to come together and try to come up with some important solutions.
That's terrific.
It's really important and necessary. And tied into the cuts, obviously, are some pretty disturbing suggestions about the arts. And right now, I think one of the suggestions on the table is to have art, including visual arts and music, every other year. And I just think, you know, such good research has been done by really, really credible research entities across the country, RAND, Annenberg, Ford, Americans for the Arts, so much really, really viable research has been done that demonstrates that the arts make a profound difference in a learner's life.
Absolutely.
And we can't afford to cut them.
No.
And
Right.
it's unjustifiable. And so how can we as a community come together and convince the non-believer? I think that there are a lot of people who really do know that the arts have an important place in our children's schools, in their learning, and in our lives, in our community, and in society.
Right.
But somehow they are the first to go. And
Right.
it shouldn't be the way it works. For example, we know that art students outperform non-art students on their SATs. We know that pardon me, business and school leaders see the arts as key to preparing students to be creative workers in the global marketplace.
That's right.
And we also know that students with high levels of arts involvement are less likely to drop out of school.
That's
So what can we do as a community to really promote the support for art education, to come together as a community, the business community, the private sector, to really ensure that arts are in the schools, that organizations like Fine Arts for Children, which do go into schools, can continue to thrive and provide important programming for kids.
I mean, I'll tell you a bit, a little self-absorbed story. I actually did very badly on my SATs, but I got into Parsons School of Design and I was like off the charts artistic and creative. And I'll tell you that, and I went to private schools and I had, you know, everything handed to me, which I'm grateful for. But here I was with all the opportunities given, yet struggling in standard academics, struggling with low self-esteem. I mean, had I been in a public school today, I'd probably be dropping out and, you know, selling drugs on the street corner. I don't know, you know, but, you know, just desperate. And what gave me self-esteem and the perseverance to push myself in the academics that I didn't enjoy was my art classes.
Yeah. And I think that's
It's
true
huge.
for so many.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that it really speaks to the responsibility that we have as citizens and that our schools have to
Right.
really honor the commitment. I mean, it is written in No Child Left Behind that the arts are a core content.
Absolutely.
So they shouldn't be expendable. And
Yeah.
to the extent that F.A.C.T. and you and others can, again, as I said, come together and really come up with some creative solutions to ensure they don't get cut.
Well, that's why
is
you're here.
important.
That's
Yeah.
why you're on the show,
It's
because we're
critical.
hoping that some of the
Critical.
listeners, you know, will help and look out for you, and when it comes time for them to donate, you know, they'll think of F.A.C.T. because it's so important.
As well, not just money, but as well as ideas and energy and time. I mean, it's all invaluable.
We have to
That's
wrap
right.
things up, so let's.
See, it's
let's-
never long enough.
Yeah, it is. So let's
Okay.
think of the last point.
Well, I want to thank you both so much for having me on the
It's our
program.
Oh, it's a
And-
pleasure.
Yes.
And what we say at Fine Arts for Children and Teens is, it's a fact, art saves lives. And
Absolutely.
we really know that that's true on many levels. And we just encourage your listeners to be in touch with us. We are always looking for volunteers. We welcome new students. We really, really exist to be in service to our community and young people that have the right to survive and thrive and live full lives.
They
Okay.
deserve it. Children deserve the very best.
Well, thank you for listening to TAC 1260 KTRC, the Humanity Behind the Vanity. We've been talking with Julie Bergen, and
Just
we
one
will
more.
be
Let her
back.
give her telephone and website last time.
Telephone number is?
Our telephone is 992-2787. Our website is www.factsantafe.org, and you can find us on Facebook at Art Fact.
Good.
Okay.
Excellent.
See you
Thank you
next
so
week.
much. It was a pleasure. It was all ours.